Hello and welcome everyone to our next episode of Help and Trade podcast, where we give space to entrepreneurs and their startups. My today's guest is Olga. Olga is an awesome person here within Basel, taking care of all the entrepreneurial ladies which have the courage to step forward. She's a chairman of Professional Women's Group and also entrepreneur herself. And Olga, please introduce yourself because I don't want to take the stage completely.
Well, I think you said almost everything, but yeah, I'm Olga. I'm the chair of PWG. It's been a year now, a Professional Women's Group of Basel, and I'm starting my own business in media.
Great. Now, Olga, you were questioning yourself, why are you here today? Yes. Let me explain to you. So, first when we met, I was actually mesmerized by how much you actually do, how much of a creative person you are. And I think it would be worthwhile to share that experience with our listeners. First, I am mesmerized by the fact that how much you're progressing in your life, going through all the struggles that you did so far, but you keep on going and you create stuff. And that's something amazing. And I think for our listeners, because these are the starting entrepreneurs mostly, it is essential to know, how do you even keep on going? How do you motivate yourself? How do you come up with new ideas that you try and that you actually get to the trying? So this was the basic idea that I had when I invited you to come over for the podcast recording. And this is something I would like to concentrate on.
Well, I motivate myself by doing. Like you say, I try to do, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I don't like to keep it in the back of my head and let it live there for a long time and not do anything. And then later maybe regret it. I prefer to regret that I did it and it failed or not, and then continue. So for me, I'm a passionate person, and passion is what really motivates me to do all the stuff that I do, which sometimes I don't think is enough. I think a lot of older people do a lot more than I do and maybe more interested. But that's what I do.
Awesome. Then let's first start with the Professional Women's Group. What is it exactly what your group does? The association idea is all about the vision, and how does the even process start if people want to get in touch with you?
Well, PWG has been there for 30 years, and it's an organization that women get together and they network and they support each other. And I believe in that. I believe in everybody supporting each other, but especially women, with everything that goes on in society, especially with us. So so that's what we do. We are trying to support women in every step of the way. Sometimes we feel like, okay, we stop working and we start having a family, and then we want to go back to work, and it's hard, and we are indecisive, we are doubting ourselves. And this is what we're trying to get PWG to continue doing, supporting that and not feeling alone. Feeling like always somebody's there to catch you when you need it. So, not very marketish the way I speak about it, but I'm speaking more from my heart. And that's one of the things that I feel like we're trying to do, all of us together with PWG.
Awesome. That means you also help, for example, with incorporation of business ideas of your members. Yes, we do.
There's a lot of women who, when they come new, they might not find a job or whatever the situation might be, and then they want to jump into being an entrepreneur. Exactly what happens to me. I left my job, and then I said, okay, what do I want to do? I fell in love with marketing and the whole psychology behind, understanding the customer and stuff. And then I said, okay, I went back to what I wanted to do and who I was before years ago. And then I found that connection with myself, and I see that that happens to a lot of women, that they probably wanted to do something that they were afraid to do, or they had to do because they had to bring a paycheck home. But now they kind of like life put them in a position that they might be able to go back to that. And then that's why they become an entrepreneur and they try this now. So we want to be there to guide them and hold their hand and say, okay, let's do it. Let's try to guide you a little bit and take you on the road and see what happens.
Awesome. That means you have also kind of like a network of experts at your hand that you can call in to help out with, for example, structuring the business plan or just critically challenging the business ideas of your members?
Yeah, we are always looking, and we're actively looking for experts that can bring value. And it's not just anybody. It's always good to have the experience part as a person, and then it's always good to have the experienced person to give you the value that you need to move. You need both. You need the sentimental part of it, because that's your baby, whatever it is that you're creating. And then you need the person who says, okay, this is going to work. This is not. Maybe we should go this way, and wiggle your way in, but you need both. So, yeah.
I understand. I really like it. I really like what you do. That's why I'm so happy that you're here, so enthusiastic about it. So I was wondering also, because last time, for example, I saw a lady in your group and she opened up her own tea shop here in Basel. And so far I understood you were actually in the process of helping out establishing the entire thing, like going through the legal stuff with incorporation, validating the entire business idea, the business model, finding the space for that. How much in depth did you actually get into that?
Well, I would like to take credit for that, but I can't. But what we try to do with her, and I think you're talking about Sunita, we're trying to showcase what she does. Her teas are amazing, and some of her teas has some history back in India, and some small villages. You explained to me, these women, it's a village of all women. I mean, they have husbands as well, but all the women work in this town and they produce this tea. Every liter tea that you buy has a history and has how they did it. And you see, it's a whole story behind it. And I thought that we as PWG should, help her to bring all of that into, to us, and get everybody to know. I didn't really help much with the legal stuff, but we help giving her that boost that people know who she is, and we purchase her product to help with all the finances that it requires to open a shop and, all this stuff. So, yeah. And we're still using her tea in one of our events that we have for women looking for jobs. That's the tea we, use for, she's sponsored or collaborating. I don't know how you would say it, but yeah.
Sounds amazing to me. I mean, that kind of help is really worthwhile. Among other associations which are, for example, in Switzerland helping out. I think this brings that kind of, as you said, the sentimental touch to that and makes it more hands-on feeling of what is actually happening there. I really like it.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's what we need. Sometimes we don't need just a place that gives you all the technical structure where you have to go, but you need that people understand what you want to do. Because like I say, any project that you get involved is your baby, and you want to protect your baby at all costs, whether you have an actual baby or not. It's your personal touch, and you want people to understand that. You want people to connect with that, and that's a way for us to do it with PWG, to able to show everybody, hey, look, this is what somebody's doing. Let's support this person.
Amazing. Now let's switch more the focus on your entrepreneurial path so far. Your CV is full of changes throughout the years. You were a teacher of Spanish, you moved to marketing, now you have your own media company. Can you emphasize more on those aspects of, like, again, what brought you step by step to the stage where you are now?
Yeah, that's a story. That's a developing story. It's a long story, I guess. But the shorter version is, back in Cuba, when I was younger, I was always in theater and everything to do with art. So at some point when I got married, life happens. So you have to work. And teaching is, whether I knew it or not, it was a passion of myself, because I always help people and teach whatever I know to people. And I thought it was like, okay, I could do this. And I tried it and I loved it. And I thought it was really a good thing that I could teach, the children Spanish. When I was back in the Bahamas, I was teaching Spanish. And then I came here to Switzerland. I did a little extra English. And then I was in the library. I did a few things around the school myself. And I love that part of it, because you see their faces, they are learning, and you can, install principles and values in them, and then with the family together and all of that. But when I left, I felt that, okay, I want to do something that is closer to my soul. I love teaching, but I want something else to my soul, and my soul was screaming for that. And that was going back to art, but going back to writing, going back to plays. So I was part I think in 2018 of the Vagina Monologues. I was part of that play, and that revived a lot more than I was feeling before. And I said, Olga, what can you do? You're not an expert in marketing because you're studying now. You're not you're not doing any scientific stuff or discoveries or anything like that. What can you do? He said, I'm going to go with what I know. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to bring stories to life. I think everybody has interesting stories, and I'm mesmerized by learning from other people and what they do, how they do it. So why not bring it into a story? So I'm planning on doing documentaries and, bringing stories to life. And one of the stories I want to bring that I'm writing at the moment, and I want to bring to a script, is the first and only time I met my father, which is a lot of people are going to know now. And I might get a lot of questions about it. But yeah, I didn't grow up with my father, and this was the first and only time I was able to see him. One time I was 23 years old, and that experience is really amazing. And now that I'm writing about it, I cry a lot. Sometimes I have to stop for days because I can't continue because it brings a lot of emotions. So that's what I want to bring into a script, and then hopefully it's good, and maybe people can see it as my part of the story. That's what I'm trying to do.
I like how you translate your passion into something as at the end of the day, a product itself. And that product is in an artistic way, of course. It's the play, it is the book that you wrote, the scripts that you're writing, but also your media company as of now. All that creative spirit that you have, you're actually translating into something also others can consume. And I find there is a great value in that. And I really like that. So my question in that spot would be, if someone else would like to go with, I wouldn't say your script of life, but with the way how you translate your emotions on the paper, on the final product, how would they start? How would I, for example, start with, I have stories in my life as well. How do I bring it out?
I would say, write. The first thing you have to do is bring those emotions to paper. You need to look at them. That's the best and first thing I would do. Just write it. Don't worry about grammatically correct. Don't worry about if it's well written or not. Just put your emotions in a piece of paper. Anytime you need to feel or write it or in your laptop or whatever it is, do it. And you'll see how those emotions translate. And then after that, you can come to somebody like me who has, studied in a production company, and all related, because I'm trying to use any, like stop motion or videos or, different ways to produce a story. And then that person can, translate your part of the story and bring it to life. So, right. That's the first thing I would say. Because that's sometimes, even when you write in a diary, that's a story in itself. And you don't think about it. You just do it. You want to get the stuff that is in your head and in your chest, and you want to put it somewhere, but you don't want to tell anybody because maybe you're ashamed or you're afraid or whatever, and you write it in a diary. Most people do that. I don't know. I don't personally do it like that, but I do it in another way. I write poetry, for example. That for me, poetry is like my second nature. If you write it, you're going to see it, and you're going to remember details that you might have forgotten before because the emotions are so raw. So if you want that, just do it. Just write. And it will come up.
Amazing. I really like this idea. I had here, for example, on a podcast, a lady which is a professional writer, Karin. And then also just last time there was Saskia who's doing the video production. But I think so far you summarized the best the need for that. Like, why should you do that? I really like how you said it. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So about your production company, what is exactly what you do and how does it work? What is the process behind it as well?
Well, it's just in the very first stages, and that's what it's a production because I would like to produce, stories. Sometimes when you look at a movie or things like that, you say, oh, this story, how this came about. But most of the stories that you see are real life stories. Somebody wrote it based on something that they know, someone that they, seen. Like if you listen to a lot of celebrities, actors and actresses, and I've been around them back in Cuba. There were celebrities in Cuba, but then I've been around the ones that are not so well known as well. They always, when they are doing a character, the first thing they say, oh, I remember that woman from my neighborhood, or I remember my mom used to do. So they always base their character in somebody that actually they know. They actually know. And that's what it is. So I want to produce that. I want to produce these stories that people have. We're all interested in our own way, whether we think or not. Because society sometimes take us to the side and say, okay, you need to mass produce some, this because this is what sells. But when you find that one story that really touches you, it's real. And that's what I would like to do. I mean, I'm in the first stages of everything and trying to go through the technical, legal stuff and all these things. But I'm starting. And at the same time, I want to help with the products of people tell story through their products if you have a business as well. So it's kind of like a tell story. It's a storytelling.
Well, I wouldn't say completely at the very beginning because I saw a couple of your videos.
Yeah.
The stop motion video is, for me, mind-blowing. I have no idea how you do that. I suppose thousands of pictures every second one, and then you just change a little thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
Can you get me through the process of how does it work? How do you do that?
Well, first you go through the idea of what you wanted to, the message you want to give. And then after that, you start looking how you want to tell the story, which elements have to be there. And then after that, you just do it. Basically, you need a lot of patience But for me, I'm not even thinking about that because I love it so much to tell a story that you don't think about it. But you go through the idea, then you look what you want, how you want it, translate it to the rest of the world. And then you go into production. And after that, you edit or whatever else you want to add to it. And that's how. It's very simple. It's not that complicated. It's just, it takes time and a lot of imagination and a lot of your, brain power to go through that process. But doing it is not that complicated. Anybody could do it, but you need to be patient.
So if I wanted to repeat your production company, what would be the requirements? What would I necessarily have to have in order to start? And also from the infrastructure point of view.
So you need space to record. You need lighting. Have a little knowledge of light, then cameras, and it depends what you want to do. If you want to just do stop motion, then you need a tripod for that type, because normally stop motion is from the top. Yeah, but it's lights, cameras, space, that's very important, because sometimes you a very small space and you can't do what you want to do. And story. You need a lot of imagination. That's what sells. That's what actually people want to see what you do. And not just talking about sell, because I'm talking about passion and sell is two things that sometimes don't mix too well. But then you do that. You need that for people to stay long enough to watch the video and the documentary or whatever it is that you want to do. So
speaking of stop motion video, how long, for example, is the classical product of yours?
Mine, I would say a minute. I have this baby that I started last year, and I stopped doing it because, some people liked it so much. They were throwing propositions at me, kind of like to go into a business and stuff. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, this is a little scary now. And these cartoons for children are 1 minute. They are called Sipu and Nana, and they are made of plastilene. And it's a couple. Sipu is the male and Nana is the female. And Sipu is green and Nana is purple. It's really cute. And the children have seen it. They like it. So I want to keep doing more of that. But it's the longest I have is a minute.
Well, for the attention deprived people nowadays, I think 1 minute is a perfect format.
Yeah. And for children, sometimes you need that little, it's longer stories. Sometimes you lose a lot of the stuff there. And
I can totally imagine. I want to see Olga's story tonight. But you have 1 minute only. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that's about the stop motion movies. Now you said also something about documentaries.
Yeah.
What is your experience in documentaries doing, or how is it going so far?
Somebody asked me to do a documentary on technology. I've been trying to sit with this person to talk about it, but then again, time and, and people are afraid to get involved in that. But that's a project I have. I'm just waiting to, bring everything to boil. I don't know how you say it. But then, I'm not doing right now a lot of documentaries or anything like that. I don't have but I have this proposition that I hopefully get to do about technology, which I'm passionate, and a lot of us are passionate because we're using it now for this podcast. So hopefully I can get it done.
What specific part of technology would it be, or what exactly about technology?
Well, that's the thing that I have to sit with this person and see. I know it's technology, but I think is maybe can't tell you for sure yet, because I have to sit down with this person and see, okay, what's the message we want to give and how we go about it.
Interesting. Any other formats you do as well in your production company?
Well, I have a Cuban group that wants to do a video for their music. And I want to do half stop motion and half video. That's another thing I'm trying to do as well. So I'm listening to the music, and then I'm trying to come up with the idea and how to bring it about and stuff. I love working with the mouth. Like I have little mouth and big mouth, and then try to make words with paper mouth or plastilene. So that's something that I love to do, because it makes it alive. When you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, I can see the L, the tongue going up, or the M with the lips closed and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that I want to use in this music video, because I have more range of things that I can do with it, because it's just music, and they don't want to go back to the same old videos with a bunch of women in a car or whatever. So we'll see.
So fascinating. So your signature movies actually focus on the lips and the mouth altogether.
That's what, actually I want to put it in my logo. I tried a few ways to do it, and I want to become, because that would be my signature. So if you see any of my videos, somehow, somewhere, that's what you're going to see. That's what I want to do.
Fascinating.
I want to totally do that, yes.
Now, I know you already wrote a book. Did you also incorporate something of a focus on the mouth in the book as well? I
actually, in this book that hopefully will come out, it's a little bit of a, because I wrote it with somebody else. So sometimes when you do something with somebody else, it brings a little heated discussions and stuff. But I could say that I did a tongue twist type of thing. So maybe that's what mouth is about. So yeah, that's what I probably with that.
So how does it look now with the publishing of the book? Anytime soon?
I don't know. But the book came in a play that was shown in Volterra in Italy. This story became a play, and we showed it in the festival of Volterra last 2018. But after that, we haven't done anything else with it. At the moment, we are still in talks. It's a lovely story, and the sad part of it is that when a lot of our friends have written it, because we have common friends and they have written out, read it, they say, oh my God, you can do so much with this story. It's a really good story. But when you have this hovering over your head, like you can do so much, it gets a little, but I want this, and I want that. So I'm working on it.
Got it. I'm sure you will figure out the way how to.
I hope so, because it's a nice story.
I am so sure you're going to work it out. I mean, you're indestructible, Olga.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
Anyway, I'm really interested into the way you think creatively. Because I figure out that creativity is actually not given. Not everybody has that. I thought, yes, but so far my experience in the past couple of years shows not really. How do you perceive things? I mean, how comes that you're creative and someone else not? How do you think differently than others? It makes it so much more creative than other people's thinking.
I wouldn't know that, but for me, I like to observe people and the way we all have a pattern, the way we do things and stuff. So I like to observe people. I like to observe things, how you move them around the room and stuff, and why you put them here and there. So if I see this plant behind you, the listeners won't know this. Maybe you have to post a picture after. But if I look at it, I was looking at it earlier, and I was imagining something like a face, or I was imagining like a character with the plant, and it's just there, and maybe you look at it every day. And for you, it means nothing. But for me, I was thinking, maybe the plant could do this and that, and that's how I go about. Sometimes I have, writer's block, or I don't know what I'm doing or where am I going. But it's the little things that I put a face to it, or I put a little smiley and I say, oh, look, those are eyes. And then I have the smiley, and now I just need a hair or something. And then it became a character. And just like that, now I need to say, who is this character? What is the message of this character when I say? And then I say, okay, so this door has 2 eyes. I put the mouth. Now she wants to open fast or slow. Is she angry or not? So when you're angry, normally you throw the door and it's slam, no? Or you're in a hurry. That's how you come about to make up the story. And you say, okay, this door is timid. So it closes very soft, but it has a noise because it doesn't have the oil. And so it makes like, that's how I would go about it. I don't know how everybody else, but that's how. And then from there, I can make a character. And then I go home and I say, okay, now I want to do it out of paper. Or this door represents a person. Who do I know that acts this way? Or maybe I want to do it out of plastilene. Or maybe I found a toilet paper and I say, this toilet paper, the way the paper opens, it could be a door. Don't know.
So fascinating, Olga. My mind is blown away. How do you actually think, and how is your mind working? I find it really amazing. Well done.
Thank you. My mind is thinking at all time. That's a problem. And actually, funny enough, I think the best at night. So when everybody's sleeping, I'm awake. My friend's like, how can you? And you wake up early in the morning. How can you do this? But it's the best time for me. So I picked up everything I picked down to do in the day. And then I bring it into the pot. And then I say, okay, now what can we come up with this? And then I do it. Or sometimes I leave it for later. And then I continue another time or so.
Here's the thing about the creativity, which mesmerizes me about you as well. Because you always do something out of it. It's not that you just think about it and that's it, and then you move on with your ideas. So how do you, for example, filter out the ideas which you actually hands-on recreate to something tangible, and which ideas you flush down immediately because you don't see any value behind them?
I would say the message. I have this idea and I say, what is the message that I want to give with this? And if I personally can't find the message, then I said, you won't. Somebody else won't be able to find it. So I would go with a message first. Sometimes things you do it and they don't have a specific message. Sometimes I do that as well. And they just want to do it. And then some of the videos people are like, oh, I like that. But for me, it always have to have a message. Like, what am I trying to say? And if I can't find it, then I won't be able to reproduce it clearly for you to look at it and say, oh yeah, I got it. I made a video out of paper the other day because, I'm from Cuba. People in the streets carrying with buckets, and then there comes a big truck with water. You fill up the buckets and you have to walk miles or a few blocks to your house. And then somebody in the balcony pulling the buckets with a string or something. And I did that. I have that video. And in the beginning, it took me forever to do all the little elements, the buckets, because there is a line of buckets. It's not just you. It's a whole neighborhood with buckets. So you have the truck coming and then other cars passing by. But this street might be blocked now because the truck is in the middle and everybody's all over the place. So I did that. I didn't make it so chaotic because I wanted to get the message and show, hey, this is a little bit of my Cuba. It's not bad, but it's who we are, and that's what we are. And that's what I did when I was younger. When we didn't have water, I had to carry the buckets home. So I did that. That's one of the latest stories I did. I did it out of paper. So I had to make the structure of the character and how is it walking and, all of that. So I didn't put too much effort into developing the character because my message was the water, how we do the round down. So, yeah.
So amazing. Now, more again to the entrepreneurship part of it.
Yeah.
What are your current challenges? Where do you need help? Or what kind of people are you looking for as of now?
Thank you. Because that's the question I need. Okay, so I need a little bit more information because media, when you're talking about media, it's not the same as other businesses like a tea or a cake or so. So you need different rules and stuff. So I would like somebody to help me, guide me towards what do I need. Because I know for the social security or something like that, you need different stuff or for the insurance. I don't know. Somebody was telling me, but they couldn't tell me very well at the end. And one challenge that I have is puppeteers. I'm not very good with hands and craft at all. So if somebody out there knows how to do, little cartoons out of whatever material it is, please find me out because I really need help with that. I have so many characters in mind, and just because I have to do that, I don't do it because it takes me a lot longer than it would take somebody else to do it. So I'm kind of like looking for a little team where I have the person that does this handwork. Then I will always need a creator person as well because, it's always two heads or three or more than one. And I like to write we say in Spanish, a cuatro manos, four hands or, because it's always better when you have the perspective of somebody else. It's not just yours, your experience. So yeah, I'm looking for if I can form that little team. I would love it. I
have an idea for you. You could actually create a meetup or a workshop.
I was thinking of that.
For, getting people together. You would tell them how things work. You could go on with storytelling based on puppeteering. But that condition will be that people actually have to create their own puppets in order to do so. 2-3 puppets for their own story. You can record a short video where just, you do stuff with the hands and the story behind it. That's your final product after workshop. Everybody's happy, but you got your puppets.
I know, actually, Stefan, we're connected because I was thinking about that. I actually wanted to ask you, you just remind me now because we've been talking before and I totally forgot, but I actually was going to ask you how to go about that because you're an expert at meetups and I love how you do it with your meetup, and every time I hear somebody talking about it, it's amazing. So thank you for that because I have met so many amazing people with your meetup, and I want you to later on give me a little, rundown how to go about, because I was thinking of that and I got that idea from the meetup from you. Actually,
thank you very much.
Inspire me of trying to do that, something like that. So.
Now I finally have some value and appreciation here.
No, you do have value all the time. I mean, you got me here. This is the first time I have an interview ever. Okay, so that's value.
Well, Olga, the pleasure is mine.
No, you're amazing at what you do. I actually sit down through your podcast and listen to the interviews because I think you have very interesting questions, and that's what makes a podcast. And sometimes it's not just, talking about something, it's listening to other people's experiences. So you do it with the podcast. I want to do it with storytelling. So that's the connection right there, and that's the value.
Thank you very much. What I'm trying to bring out is that We want to empower people to go into the entrepreneurship and show them it's not so difficult. What you need really is just to start. And that's probably the main message of all those interviews that everybody always says, like, you just have to start. And it doesn't matter how many times you fail. You just need to succeed once. But keep on going and keep on trying. And that's what we're trying to achieve with this podcast, that no matter what is your passion, you can find a podcast specific in that topic: video production, puppeteering, storytelling, becoming a writer, and just get inspired by actions of others. And that is not so difficult. If others can do it, you can do as well.
Yeah, and it's just not just because others do it, you do it. It's because you see the passion that everybody puts into whatever it is that they're doing. Then you can put that same passion in whatever you want to do. I feel like us as a society are afraid to fail a lot. I don't know where or when that's installed in most of our brains, and people are not doing what they want to really do. Then again, you have the fact that you have to provide for your family and, bring a plate on the table, but at the same time, you can always try to find a spot or something to start what you want to do. And for me, that's amazing. I love to see people when they go for their passion. I don't care what it is. I'm not questioning what it is. I just want you to be passionate about who you are, what you do, how you do it, and why you're doing it. And if you're doing it for yourself, that's how we start at the beginning. We normally don't start, I want to make money. Sometimes we do, some people do, and that's fine as well. But you have that passion, whether it's making money, whether it's making somebody happy, whether it's trying to, connect with somebody or help somebody connect with other people. Whatever it is, just that passion that we are lacking as a society. And when you lack that, you feel afraid. You disconnect from your passion or your dream to, go about to do it. You're like, and then you start sabotaging. You're like, should I do it? But it's too much money. I better know. I have to look for this. And then, and there's a lot of things that you start questioning because you're trying to procrastinate the idea of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Thank you for your words, Olga.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we are almost, we passed by half an hour. Didn't feel so bad, right?
No, I love that.
Great.
I was nervous in the beginning, but now I'm fine.
Awesome. So please, if you don't mind sharing any contacts where people can reach out to you, whether it's social media, emails, whatever, where can people find you and how they can connect with you?
Well, I have a Facebook page that's called Creative Caesar Media. And then I have my Instagram that is called Olga Q.C Media. And they can contact me there anytime. Or go to the PWG, Basel.ch, and then they can send me an email from the share side of PWG or the entrepreneurship, either way.
Great. I'll make sure to share all your contacts in our podcast, just as well in our blog post.
Thank you.
Caesar Media, was it?
Yeah, Creative Caesar Media.
Perfect. And with that, do you have any departing words?
Be passionate.
Great. Thank you very much, Olga, for your time, for your effort, everything you shared with us. It was really great to have you on the podcast. For our dear listeners, thank you for listening. Please stay tuned. We are publishing on our social media channels, whether it's Facebook group, Help and Trade, Twitter, Help and Trade 1, on our blog post, Help and Trade/blog, on our website. You can find all the information, also connections to Olga, all the LinkedIn profiles, everything. We make it easy for you so that you can connect with us and Olga as well. So please let us know, how do you feel about the podcast? How did you like Olga as a guest? If you have any questions, reach out to us and we'll forward it also to Olga. And with that, thank you for listening and bye-bye.